Page 2 now, the Speaker sweepstakes. There are 3 official candidates for Speaker of the House in the lower chamber of Congress, but none of the 3 has a stellar constitutional conservative liberty score. According to Conservative Review, Kevin McCarthy, an F, 45%. Daniel Webster of Florida, D, 64%. And at the front of the class, Jason Chaffetz, a grade of B, 82%. So, no true blue constitutionalist from which to choose, unless you consider Chaffetz the closest thing.
Generally, the speakers have had a very silent role. We haven't won the communications war. We're up against a very talented White House, a very active set of Democrats, and yet we have a void in that we have not taken our message and our communications to the American people and won the fight at that level. And that has to change. And it was the nature of John Boehner. It's not necessarily the strongest suit for Kevin McCarthy. We all have talents and things we can do better than others. And I'd like to fill that role in part to win the communications battle.
So Chaffetz is right on that. The Republicans have been woeful in making the case to the American people about any issue. But is Chaffetz the Republican leadership overhaul that is desperately needed in Congress? And what about the leadership in the Senate? Is there any hope for change there? Joining me now from Scottsdale, Arizona, Republican candidate for Arizona's U.S. Senate seat, Alexander Mielewski. Alexander, or Alex, if I may, you are calling for the resignation of Mitch McConnell. I have to ask you why. Is it because of the unkept promises? Is it because he has capitulated to Obama now dozens of times? Or is it because of his weak leadership?
I'd say all the above. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right. So what do we do about Mitch McConnell? How do you force a guy to resign?
Well, you ask him to take the leadership role that John Boehner did, and respectively resign and give Kentucky somebody else to represent the people, somebody that will hold up to our constitutional values. I think the biggest issue is the leader of the House, the leader of the Senate promised us if they had control of the House, control of the Senate, then they would bring these bills to Obama's desk, that they would be in control. They would give us good leadership. Well, we're not bringing votes to our president's desk, and they're also not standing up and letting the other branches of government take over.
I think it's infuriating when the American people hear Mitch McConnell the day after the election in 2014 come out and say, we are not going to shut down government. Of course, nobody effectively wants a government shutdown, but what he was saying was, we are not going to use our constitutional power of the purse. And that's one of the things it feels like you're picking up on.
Well, absolutely. And you mentioned right before I came on, you were talking about Chaffetz, Webster, and McCarthy. I've met McCarthy. I've heard him speak, and I haven't been too impressed because he seems somewhat divisive. He called the Senate a country club. I've heard him call Boehner light. Now you move over to Webster. I thought he would have had a much higher score in regards to the Constitution, but one thing I heard him mention was, why are we waiting till the last minute to work on these big deals, like our budget? We keep having these threats of a shutdown government. Let's address the big issues early. The big issues like our budget, bring them to the president's desk and make him deal with it. Get their work done early. Get the House work done early so the Senate can take it and take control of this legislative branch. Because honestly, we're deferring to the executive branch and the judicial branch so much that we have absolutely no leadership or a broken branch of government, as I see it.
All right, you are running for John McCain's seat in Arizona, and there are probably tens of millions of people across the country who are hoping that someone conservative and a constitutionalist is going to replace and get rid of John McCain once and for all. I think there are tens of millions of Americans who believe that John McCain has been an albatross around the neck the Republican Party for way too many years. If you are elected to replace John McCain and Mitch McConnell is still Speaker, what would you do? Try and form a coalition with a Ted Cruz?
Absolutely. I'd form a coalition with somebody like that. I'm wondering why Mr. McCain wouldn't stand up with people like Senators Lee and Senator Cruz when they were trying to fight for the people for the Affordable Care Act. I believe all Mr. McCain wants to do is keep his friends in office. He's not representing the people. He's been in office over 32 years between the House and the Senate. But we need real people that will stand up and fight for the people. The people want a fighter. They want somebody from their rankings. They want citizen representation. We don't get that in D.C. anymore. We don't get people that go in, fight for the people, stand for the Constitution of 4,513 words, which is a very, very simple document to follow. I'm absolutely dumbfounded by our leadership in Washington, D.C., how they cannot understand that there are three equal but separate branches of government, and they all need to be held accountable to one another.
Kelly Ward is also running for McCain's seat. I'm sure you're aware of that, but maybe not all of our viewers are. If it comes down to a situation where it's you versus her versus getting McCain reelected, would you be willing to drop out of the race if that meant that John McCain would lose to a Kelly Ward? I mean, are you able to see the bigger picture here?
I always like to think that I see the bigger picture, and it has never, ever been about me doing this. I'm just one of 6.5 million people here in Arizona, one of 330 American citizens here in the United States. It's always about a bigger picture. I would like to ask all the other candidates running against John McCain to take a pledge to not be a divisive person. If we're coming around March and it's time to file for the ballot, I promised already, I pledged that I would take myself away and off the ballot if I were polling much lower in a third position. I understand that replacing McCain is of the utmost importance, even though I feel that I am much more of a conservative person, even though I have a much better record in the grassroots community, in the business, in the personal community. I've begged people to research all the candidates, vet them thoroughly. And I challenge John McCain and his team to come after me too. But absolutely, I would get out of the way if it meant putting somebody else in instead of John McCain, because a freshman senator would be much easier to replace.
Well, if you can figure out a way to get rid of John McCain and get rid of Mitch McConnell for that matter, and maybe replace him with a Mike Lee as leader of the United States Senate, I think there's a lot of Americans who would owe you a debt of gratitude. Alex, thank you and good luck. Coming up next, the Citizens Commission on Benghazi as the Daily Ledger continues.